Hi, I'm Seth. I'm the owner of Wunderbar Coffee and Crepes in Harmony.
And I'm Aaron. I'm the owner of Elmo Fired Beans in Knox.
One of the things I'm most proud of is using high quality, locally sourced ingredients in all of our food and drinks. One of my most proud relationships is with Aaron and his coffee, and I just I love to hear his philosophies on the coffee.
Yeah. To me, fresh coffee is the very, very most important. The quality of the beans initially is always also paramount, but we deliver the same day that I roast, and that does not exist, I don't think, with any roasters around here. So getting the beans fresh, and then also I'm a chef and Seth a chef. We both appreciate the process of making it. So they brew amazing coffee, and to me, having fresh beans on display that way, it's the best.
Yeah, the reason I'm holding this bag is because it comes in warm.
Right.
I don't know anywhere that does that, so you just want to hold it like a little baby.
Baby.
Yeah. But no, I think your attention to quality, like you were saying, freshness. I think with food or coffee, it takes just a couple of seconds to really ruin something. And,
so true.
Yeah, you got to have that eye to detail, and I think that's why we have a good symbiotic relationship.
Right. Making crepes is very precise and requires that you do things just so. Roasting coffee is the same way. You have to nail it. And a lot of people, their whole lives haven't had really, really fresh coffee. When they do, it's going to change them, and they're not going to want to go back.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if you want a steak, you go out and order one, you get a hamburger,
Right.
So go for the good stuff. That's what I always say, yeah.
Well, I started out as a chef, and I still love to cook. It was something that when I was a single guy, it was great. When I had a wife and children, being a chef is not as easy. And as a chef, I realized that coffee was very similar, and I started roasting at home. But I also, in doing that and sharing with others, realized that not many people have actually tasted really fresh coffee, and that the difference is really noticeable. And so as I've grown as a roaster and learned more skills, I've also developed a relationship with shops that are symbiotic and let me do what I do and let them thrive as well. Yes, I had lived in Southern California and cooked and lived near a roaster. And when I moved back to Pennsylvania in 2000, I set out to find a roaster here that I could purchase beans from. What happened, unfortunately, was that when I would go to roasters, sometimes it was fresh, sometimes it wasn't fresh, but most of the time what I found was not what it could have been. It was something that was past its best. And experimenting at home and developing my own technique, I realized that fresh roasted coffee is hugely different than stale coffee, and is something that people really, really appreciate when they have it. And the roasting that I do now is very unique, and that traditional roasting is done on a drum roaster, which a coffee spins around and around in a metal drum. It's very crude, rudimentary, I guess. But what I do is called air roasting. It's completely different in that there's no metal to bean contact and heat transfer. Rather, it has, like a hot air popcorn popper, a stream of hot air that lofts the beans. And if anyone's familiar with sous vide cooking, this is a very delicate way to roast the coffee that I would compare to sous vide. But the air roasting, I would say, brings out the origin and the subtleties of the origin in a way that when you have hot metal, it can mute them, and it can actually give more of a charred taste. So the air roasting, to me, makes a huge difference in how you show off the flavors. The coffee that I get actually comes through New York City through an importer, but the beauty of this importer is that they have relationships with all of the individual farms, and I'm able to, as a roaster, know that they're getting not just fair trade prices, but top dollar for the specialty coffee that I roast. When people care, and the ones that grow my coffee do care, they should be compensated in a way that is respectful of that. There's something called Cup of Excellence that allows growers, when they have produced an amazing coffee, to basically get an award, and this award then, like winning the lottery, gives them the absolute best prices. My importer works with a lot of Cup of Excellence growers, and in that you get to drink coffee that probably is some of the best that you would find, maybe in the country, maybe in the world, but it's fresh and it's really amazing growers. The biggest thing for me when people are growing coffee is it's sustainable. In the industry in the past, the use of agrochemicals and other unsavory practices have made many people be I guess, aware of the damage it can do or the good that it can do. Probably half the coffees that I get are certified coffees, Rainforest Alliance. There's a whole list of certifications, but basically they're ways to say that they are sustainable, and we look for that. So it's important in the roasting, not just a great tasting, but ones that are a great story and sustainable.
Yeah, that's right, and I think what's important for us is recognize the responsibility of the brewing technique. Anybody can really pour a cup of coffee, but it takes some skills to be a barista. There's nuances there. There's things that we're looking for taste. Our bar is as high in quality as his beans are, so it's really important to us. We have a responsibility to make sure that Aaron brings us the good stuff, and we put it out there for you in the best way possible.
It's all too common to walk into the new hipster coffee shop and expect that you're going to get an amazing cup of coffee and that things are really fresh, but unfortunately many places, actually most places, do not date their beans in terms of the born on date that were roasted, and if they do, it might be a month, it might be 6 weeks, but it's not been today roasted, and that to me, any time that I start roasting for a place, that's the biggest thing, is that we have an understanding that it doesn't sit around and that we use it, and every week fresh comes in. We every week deliver the beans. It's something that most people would not want to mess with or the trouble. We think it's absolutely worth the trouble, and so every Friday he gets beans that some are still warm. It's that fresh, and I believe that you would not find that anywhere.
Right, and there's been a lot of times, where I'm just kind of waiting for Aaron to get in. There's that last little batch of beans, and I'm emptying it in the hopper, and
right,
I'm freaking out, and losing my mind a little bit. But it always works out for us. Right. But yeah, you're never gonna get old beans with us, and I think that's important.
No,
no. You're never gonna get old beans with us. I think that's important. They're never more than a week old.
Exactly. And if you go to an average coffee shop, they couldn't even really tell you how old they are, and that's the kicker, that it really matters, but that is somehow lost. So when you come here, you're going to get an experience that you're not going to get everywhere else, and I think that's an amazing sell point for sure.
Yeah, thank you. That's an important factor, and there's a lot of times when I'm down that last bag of beans and oh no, I hope Aaron gets here. So
when I walk in and I see that there's just only a little bit of coffee left, that to me is the most perfect. Every bean is fresh and it does not sit around, and the customers ultimately get the best experience. So we're happy when we cut it close. It's a perfect way to be.
Sure, and we don't throw away coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah, so with that, Wunderbar has been had a good reputation for their coffee for a long time, and that was the yardstick when I was developing a menu. I know I didn't want to put out anything that didn't match with that kind of quality, so that's really important to us.
Right, and if you've had a crepe, you know that he puts a lot of love into those crepes. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, so stopping into Wunderbar, you can get beans whole, ground, however you like. We sell a lot of bulk beans to people. It's the best stuff. So yeah, come on down.
Yeah. I don't think you can go into any place and buy beans that were roasted that same day, but if you come on a Friday to Wunderbar, you can do that, and that's pretty amazing.
So yeah, we're fortunate to have our own blend with Aaron, and it's called Wonder Blend. We cruise through a lot of that. Any of you who've been in and have had it and know it already? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. The Wonder Blend is an incredibly popular blend. They use it for their espresso and for their drip. It has a kind of a nice mix of South American, of Indonesian, and African. But what it does, whether it's as espresso or as drip coffee, it just makes a wonderful full body cup. The Wonder Blend is something that we worked a long time kind of getting it just so, and I think that people would appreciate that it has please all palates, kind of full bodied taste, and it's something that some weeks they go through 50 pounds of, so it's a pretty awesome blend.
These beans also lend themselves amazingly well to the cold brew, which we offer and go through quite a bit of. So
yes, and The beans that they use for the cold brew are actually very specific. They use an El Salvador and they use a Honduras. When they're on nitro particularly, are just the most amazing, smooth with a kind of a nutty, full body taste. Some places don't even really know what kind of beans their cold brew have. They actually use a very specific one for just the amazing sweetness and richness in the cold brew.
Yeah. Yeah, so stop on down to Wunderbar where you can get amazing coffees served to you by knowledgeable baristas, the highest quality stuff. Yeah, come see us. We'd love to have you.
Yes, and we also, as a roaster, do ship beans. We have the ability, if somebody falls in love with the coffee and they live in Kentucky, we can get it their priority mail in 2 to 3 days. And it's known to stink up the whole post office, so it's good to be aware of that. When you go to pick up your coffee, everybody else is going to want some of your coffee because it just smells that good. But yes, we do ship all over the place, and it's a great relationship to have.
Keep going, Seth. Just finish with, and you can get coffee here too, bulk coffee here.
Okay. And don't forget when you come down to pick up your bulk coffee here, we sell whole beans and we can grind it however you like. Just feel free to ask us whatever your palate is, and we're glad to help you out.